Hello everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 435. And today we're going to be talking about the Roc Protomech, the 7-ton little beastie thing that it's actually, I feel like, about the best of the early generation of the Protomechs. Brings a good mix of firepower and mobility. Alright, so the first one, the Roc number 1, the primary little guy. Well, it is a 585. Yeah, so it's got some good mobility on board. It's able to get around. It's nothing to sneeze about having a little guy that's around 585, which is about the right sweet spot, I think, for a lot of these Protomechs, because you're getting the same ability to keep up with a lot of the clan forces. Most of the heavies are 5'8" or 5'8", somewhere in there. Some of them are 6'9", obviously, with a lot of the mediums. But if you got something that's 5'8", you can keep up with the heavy mechs and provide some well-needed firepower to the mechs. You got something that comes in at 336 battle value with an ER medium laser that shoots out to 15. It's like having an inner sphere large laser running around on a little guy with basically carrying around a gun that's able to blast things. Let me tell you, I've had my experience with these things. The very first time I ever faced off against Protomechs, they had like 5 points worth of Protomechs out on the board, a whole slew of them running around. And let me tell you, when you get hit with like 3 or 4 points worth of Protomechs suddenly focusing on one of your mechs, yeah, you know it. It hurts badly. It's like they were taking out our mechs pretty quickly. It's like, what the heck? And then you shoot back and you're like, and it's like, oh, you missed here, you missed there. The way the system works, if you roll a 2 or or 3 or an 11, it's like, that's a miss. So, yeah, it kind of hurt things a lot. So, there you go. But with the Roc, you got 585, so you got something that can get over terrain, through terrain, get in behind other mechs, and then you got the ER medium laser that just will start, you get enough of them together, they start punching holes in things. And it's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's like a lot of times he's like, okay, let's have the plinker guys, these get out front along the flanks and start just laying down some fire from a little bit of distance, which they can. And just like, not everything's going to hit. Some of it will stick to the wall, though. And it starts accumulating with the other firepower that your mechs be throwing down. So it leaves the player, which, from my own personal experience, like, do I go after these little guys and try to take out the nuisance? Or do I go after the bigger mechs and then just trying to figure out if we can take them out and eliminating some firepower? It leaves you with a catch-22. Like, which direction do I go? And that they do a pretty good job of doing it, especially something like this. Now, that is pretty much sums it up, what I think about the Roc. If I was going to run any Protomechs, it's usually going to be a Roc, with maybe a couple of the lighter versions if you have to worry about any type of like if you go with the Hydra with the Streak 5, run some of them in conjunction with the Rocs, where the Rocs are punching holes, and then you follow up with a couple Streak 5 shots with the plinker damage. Works pretty decently, I think, in a good combination, which I think was pretty much what we were facing off in that game, which was, I can't remember if that was Origins or Gen Con. It was one of the two. It's been years ago. We're talking 20 years ago, somewhere in there. It was in there. It was a while back. So, there's that. Now, there's the Roc 2. Now, this one I'm not a big fan of. It's still a 585. You went from having, I think it was like 31 points of armor. So like in, let's see, 10, you got 10 points of armor on the chest. With the Roc 2, now you're sitting at 6 points of armor on your chest. They downgraded the armor. Comes in at 245 battle value, so it's more expensive for battle value, and you're running around with a heavy medium laser. So the heat output, you have to make up the difference there. So, and then you got the heavy medium tax going on with it. Not to mention you're only shooting out to 9, and all you're gaining is 3 points of damage. So, to be honest, I'd rather stick with the Roc 1, the standard Roc, with the ER medium laser over a heavy medium laser. So, yeah, it's like, to me, gaining 3 points of damage isn't worth it in the long run, considering that you're downgrading the capability, the armor of the little guys, and you increase the odds of it not hitting. I'm not a big fan of that. So it's like I can take that one and go, gone. Not even going to even consider thinking about ever taking one. Then we got the Roc 3. Can you smell what the Roc is cooking here? All right, okay. This one is a 580. You had to get rid of the jump jets to install the medium pulse laser. Okay, so now you go from something that goes out to 15, but you go out to 12 with a better shot of hitting because you got a pulse laser. And it comes in at 281 battle value. So you're roughly almost 50 points higher. 50 or 46 points more versus the standard Roc. But you got a pulse laser. Damage output's the same. Range is slightly different. The mobility is decreased, but you have the ability to hit better. So in the long run, you might be doing more damage with the Roc 3 versus the Roc 1. Not to say that, luck may work more in your favor, but this might be, just think about it, it is one of those few cases where the Rocs, you may consider upping the battle value. This is like, kind of a hard one to think about. It's like, would you increase the battle value by giving them 3 gunnery to be able to even hit better? Because you got a good weapon system on board. That's one of those things where if you have some excess battle value just locked away where you're not sure if you want to throw in, it's like, I can throw this mech into the mix, but I still have like maybe 200-300 battle value just floating around. Maybe think about upping the battle value, giving some better gunnery on your Rocs. That might be a way to go. Not necessarily wood, or heck, you may even add another, a couple more Protomechs into the mix, instead of upping the battle value. It's like, just shoehorn a few more in. That can almost make the difference too. You never know. But I do like the idea of having the medium pulse lasers on these. It works out pretty decently. Then we have the Roc 4. Now this is your anti-personnel version of it. It comes at 297. It's a 585. Oh boy, you got a lot of armor on board these things. You're looking at 14 armor on the chest. So they upped the armor on them. And you have an AP Gauss rifle and ECM on board. So this works pretty decently for shutting down any C3 network, especially if you're facing off against House Karita. The direct components combined, it usually goes pretty heavy with or even later on when you're facing off against the WOBs, where you can start shutting down with some ECM networks. Go that route. A few of these thrown into, have one in every one of your points to give yourself some ECM bubble help to get into the units and then create that line of sight blockage for C3 networks, or even Artemis for that matter. So A little more expensive, but you're maybe only taking one. And if you do face off against any type of infantry, AP Gauss rifle is there to start mowing them down. You can say, hey, I'm going to throw some towards that platoon of infantry, do a little bit of damage with them, and you can. The only thing you have to worry about is if they have the LRM infantry. They got some range to them, so yeah. But you got a little more armor on board to maybe handle a few hits from the infantry as you try to do some damage to them. So that's one thing you have to go in for you. But, it's a 585. It does have mobility. It can get in and get out. And, working in conjunction. So in the grand scheme of things, a point of rocks, I would probably take two Roc 1s, maybe two Roc 2s, and then a Roc 4 into the mix if you're facing off against any type of infantry. If you're not facing any type of infantry, I probably go 3 Roc 1s and some Roc 3s with the pulse lasers, just to toss them in there a little bit. And then start, once you got all your units all set up, then maybe think about who's going to get the bonus on the gunnery, if you want to go that route. Or even add more of the Protomechs into the mix. But other than that, that's pretty much the Roc. Now there is a couple. Well, there's one more. Here it is, the Roc Z. This is produced by the Society. It maintains the ground speed. It carries a medium chemical laser with 30 reloads. Also equipped with magnetic clamps. So, yeah, you're looking at, who was it, who shared with me last week, or the week before, about how magnetic clamps work. So, yeah, you kind of divide it up amongst the, it can only carry 2 Protomechs, but on the front and center, or rear torso, on the center. So, yeah, you can carry a few extra of the Rocs into battle, especially if you're running around with a few of the really fast light mechs or medium mechs that have some speed. Get them in there, especially if you're looking at a 4-6 moving Protomech. So, it's like there's that. But in the grand scheme of things, I probably wouldn't worry too much about going into battle with a magnetic clamped Roc, just for the reason is that 5.8 movement is pretty decent. You really don't necessarily have to worry about attaching yourself to a mech. So, but if you got the points for battle value just floating around, maybe you could go with 2 of them, attach them to a light mech just to get them across the board. Set them up on some objective someplace to kind of do a blocking guard, cause some harassment for a while the other units are getting up there. So I suppose that's one way to look at them. But overall, the Roc, I like the Roc a lot. It's one of those ones that's left a lasting impression on me, just from the capabilities those things have. So there you go. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Craig's out.